freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gun Freedom Radio. We are coming to you from the floor of Gun Owners of America's Goals event. We are so excited to be here. I am your host, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan.
And we are super thrilled to be sitting with our awesome friend and yours, Braden Langley from Langley Outdoors, who has 8,100,000 followers on his YouTube channel. And if you're not one yet, you better get over there because they're going to run out of space, right? Time is ticking.
Next touch. 800 gajillion thousand. Oh man, that'd be a great number.
That's an exact. I just looked it up.
You nailed it.
Exactly.
You know, I must offer one mild correction though.
Yes.
Just a mild correction. There's always room in Langley Outdoors on YouTube because the scalability and the economies of scale that we've applied. Let's go.
Okay, now over on X.
Now that's a wild, wild west. Y'all need to jump on that at Braden LOA on that one because we've got news, we've got AI stuff, we've got breaking stuff, we've got mocking lefties. Oh man, it's so good. Get over there. The rules are off.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
But there's a spot just for you, but you got to hurry up and get there.
Absolutely.
Now, we are so excited to catch up with Braden because honestly, he keeps me on track with what's happening in real time with all the crazy news going on with the DOJ and the ATF. And one thing that's super interesting to me, Braden, is that, you know, we have a friendly president, right?
I mean, yeah, you could say that.
We have a friendly head of the ATF, a friendly head of the DOJ, and yet the Gun Owners of America, GOA, where we're sitting right now, they are actually still suing them, which I applaud, because if you're not doing what we hired you to do, there needs to be consequences. What do you say about that?
Well, that's a very good point because a lot of times, and we can all talk about it, right? Even from you and I, it's like to people watching, there's a tendency to kind of go to sleep. I mean, like it just happens. Like we won the White House, we won the Congress. Yeah, against all odds, by the way. I would like to just throw that out there. You guys did incredible work. And now, nothing bad will happen because the threat of death, of destruction of gun control is gone. It's not.
Is it, though?
Well, tell that to California.
Yeah.
Well, right, but that's the other thing about this is there's so many different facets to this that are so important for everyone to understand, right? You can go state level, you can go federal, you can go executive, you can go legislative, you can go judicial. The fight never stops, ever. And to your original point, we've got a friendly DOJ. We've got all these friendly things, and a lot of positive is happening, but still on these things that can easily be replicated and just plugged right back in. It's kind of like if you were to think of a example of this, it would be similar to, hey, that evil machine robot over there. Well, we unplugged it. It's great news. It's unplugged.
Yeah.
And we're going, yeah, you did. It's great, fantastic. You know those very mean people over there, those gun controlling tendencies and Democrats with tyrants? You know, no one likes them. Yeah, they can just plug that back in when they get power. So if we could go ahead and just scrap the whole thing and make like a bedpan, that'd be great.
So, Braden, I mean,
that's a good analogy.
Thank you.
Braden, a lot of people are thinking that it's all good now that the NFA doesn't have a tax for the suppressors.
Yeah.
But really, that's like what you're saying. That's terrible because what happens when the next administration comes in if they still have they can put the tax back on, and it could be thousands more.
Well, so this is an interesting point, and I think this goes to the psychology in our space and also the mindset and the mentality, which we're going to get a little bit into in a second. Yes, is there a potential for gun control elements in the federal government to always come in and go, haha, you did it, now we did? My big challenge to that is, when have they not done that? us acting and having a victory on something, however you perceive it. It could be a large victory, a small victory. It could be a tiny, minute victory, like we could have gone in the whole pie, but we got a sliver. However you frame it. Mm-hmm. When is that scenario ever been changed when gun controllers are involved? That's the big challenge that I would say to that. It's a position of, I'm upset that I didn't get everything that I wanted. I did get a little bit of what I wanted, but the gun controllers will just make it bad anyway.
Yeah.
Respectfully, the gun controller is going to make it bad anyway, regardless, whether you get a win or not.
Right.
It's kind of like one of those things where you can have a little bit of a win or a major win, or however you view it, and you can expect it to say your move, or you can just accept the status quo and say, well, we don't bring attention to the gun control efforts that are already in place, because then they might adjust them back on the other side. It's not an if, it's a factual battle. And the big thing that we've talked with a lot of people offline about, we have a tendency to see the worst in the individual moment. We also have a tendency to see the worst, what's going to happen while we're fighting that moment, and then we have a tendency to see the absolute worst after we've won that moment. Mm-hmm. In this case, is it still an infringement that you have to register anything? Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Is the NFA an unconstitutional ruling that is completely founded upon stealing our rights from 1934 under an attorney general who testified that they're going to take the rights because the power of taxation was the only way they could legally do it, and then you remove the tax? Well,
Yes.
seems like you don't have much of a ground footing anymore. I think that in a battle, you don't fear taking ground because they're going to do a counterattack. I think you take that ground and then you engage in that counterattack.
Keep going. Right?
And that's the mindset that I have on that. Yeah, could they come back and say, you know what, like Chris Murphy's already tried to do, senator from Connecticut? Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to make it a $4,657 tax because we're going to adjust it for inflation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I got 3 fingers here. You can pick one of those, which is going to be adjusted for inflation.
That's great. Yeah.
That's kind of my stance on it.
It's visual.
Like, we've got to fight, and we've got to keep on fighting, and we can't be afraid of what they're going to come back and do to us after we fight.
So to that point, we are just now celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Of Gun Freedom Radio. Oh, sorry, Gun Freedom Radio.
Nailed it.
And, we just, it seems to me that we have constantly been, just since we've been in it, on our back foot, right? Always in a defensive posture. And because of all the things we've already laid out, we've got, the executive, we've got all the branches, right? Supposedly friendly to our Constitution. We have the Bruen case.
Oh, yeah.
The Supreme Court Bruen case on our side, which rolls everything back, the language, the text, the tradition, back to 1791, when the Bill of Rights was codified, right?
Yep.
Why would we ever be in a defensive stance? We should absolutely be leaning forward and ceding, and not ceding ground. We've been ceding ground.
Ceding
taking
the ground for freedom.
Yes,
putting
ceding.
green shoots out there, ceding. Yeah, I'm with you. I see what you're saying.
What do you think about that? Like, why aren't we, kind of like saying, look, we've got Bruen, we are wiping these laws off the books?
Because it's a dynamic shift and it's a mindset shift that hasn't happened ever in our generation. We have been on a defensive posture since I would argue the 80s. That has radically and dramatically shifted. The population of which we are all very deeply ingrained, we're all part of the Second Amendment, we're part of a tiny little culture that's extremely proud of our heritage and proud of our rights. They aren't used to seeing positive things. Like the Bruen decision, that's a great starting point. Multiple things have happened since then on the judicial side. You have the Bruen decision, which was incredible. Before that, you had the McDonald follow-up to the Heller decision. And keep in mind, they usually don't take gun cases in vast quantities. Like, in the last 15 years, we've seen more gun action at the Supreme Court level than we've ever seen before.
True.
From the Heller decision to the McDonald decision to the Bruen decision, you've got the Loper Enterprises decision, which is it's not gun-related directly, but it's executive bureaucratic overreach. So that gets rid of the Chevron deference rule, which basically allows the executive bureaucracies to just run amok. That one went away. You've got the Rahimi case. You have the bump stock case, the Cargill case. All of these cases are lining up in a positive side, and that is the background and the text that we're standing on.
Yes.
There's a next part to this, which you just hit, which is amazing. We have to change our mindset.
Ooh. Politics is downstream from culture.
Give me right here. Can we do a high five? Silent high five. Bam. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's it. We do not need to focus on what we've been doing for the last 30 and 40 years of focusing on politicians.
Yeah.
Right? On my channel, on my X profile, it's all about fighting for something larger. It's about fighting for something bigger. The pieces that we cover are pieces and elements to that fight. They are not the end fight. Mm-hmm. When you bring all of the data, all the statistics, all the rights, all the history together, you end up with something that is alluring to anybody.
Yes.
Focus on that culture piece.
Yeah.
Because the culture is where everything, all the power is derived from that culture piece. The politicians, they don't. This is what I'm going to do a little bit of a tangent. Side squirrel trail over here.
Tangent away.
Okay. A lot of people, when I say that, they say, "Oh, you're trusting politicians." I'm not trusting politicians at all. What I'm trusting.
Have you met me?
I mean,
I do not trust
in the
politicians.
least. However, I am trusting in politicians' idea of self-preservation. I don't care about who they are. I care about them wanting to stay in power, because when they want to stay in power, they will do what we want them to do.
And we can count on that.
100%. There is a 1,000% guarantee that they're going to look for a way to screw you any way they can. If you're saying like you're going to lose my vote, if you change the culture a way where it's completely untenable for them to even exist, they're going to change their behavior because they want to exist.
Amen. And it's that next generation. Is it Generation X? I lose track of.
No. It's Z.
Z. So, but I think it's X that they're telling me are the most conservative that we've seen in a while, maybe since our generation.
Yes, and Z behind that as well.
Are they conservative as well?
The Z is actually more than X.
See, I'm liking this.
It's like plus 19 Republican for young men.
So I'm liking this, but here's the thing. It's kind of like, we had a gun shop, a small retail gun shop for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Just because somebody buys a gun, it doesn't mean that they understand they need to protect their rights around that tool, right?
Correct.
And so just because somebody is conservative doesn't mean that they're going to also understand the Second Amendment and the importance that is the amendment that protects all the others. So just because they're conservative, do you think that they're already there, or can we do something to really reach them so that we know when we hand the keys off, right, to this nation, when we all hit our expiration date, that they are going to drive that car well and take good care of it as far as the Second Amendment is concerned?
Yes, there is stuff that we can do, and it revolves around a very dangerous word that we know very well: apathy. You've got to get rid of it.
That is exactly the problem. So what do we? I mean, your show, what age group? You probably reach a younger age group.
I reach a younger age group. So my core demos are mostly about 35 all the way up. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of scales because I do news and I do analysis. So it makes sense. The news analysis crowd is that crowd, 35 and scaling, right? But I have the ability to flex into conversations and be more relatable to a younger audience simply because I am. Like I'm 30, in my 30s. Right? So I have an ability to connect because I experienced the very beginning of what they're experiencing now. Right, and so just to go on that, if I may, for a brief second.
Absolutely.
So young men particularly, and I can speak to that audience. I was on the cutting edge. So I graduated high school in 2005, and I started to enter the workforce shortly after that, 2008. That's right when Obama began. The moment that Obama became president, there was a cultural shift on the left that started going against everything that we've had before. Yes. For example, meritocracy, working hard, being the number one salesperson, number one performer, good attendance. That no longer mattered for a job. And when you are going into the workforce and you have a promise of, if you work hard, because everyone watching this right now will resonate with this. What'd your parents say to you when you get a job, you work hard, you do what your boss tells you, and you just keep on going. And that got interrupted because it was no longer about being the best at your job or showing up for your job or being respectful in your job. It was literally, do you check a box? And what started to happen was the frustration started to build and build and build because it's like, I'm doing everything that I can and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I worked for one of the largest liberal companies in the United States. So I was on the cutting edge of, well, yes, you are the number one person at this, and yes, you're doing a good job at this, and yes, you have amazing, incredible numbers, and yes, you have leadership skills and all this. But that population of our workforce may not resonate because you don't have that shared experience, and that combined experience needs to enrich and deepen us and develop us. Yeah, that's all DEI.
Yes,
it didn't have a name at that point, but it was all DEI. And so I started working on the side and trying to grind because I realized that it took me 10 years to figure out I was not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so because of a philosophical mindset shift in the population, I had to find another way, which is YouTube channel, X account, civil rights, all these different pieces. And we need to connect with what they're feeling because they're on the other, going back to the younger audience, they're on the backside of all of that. They have all of the resentment. They have all the, I can't buy a house. I can't, my groceries are super expensive. I can't even get out of the house of my parents' house. I can't even get a woman to talk to me. All of these things. Because it was a cultural rot that began in the Obama era. It started with jobs, it started with money, it started with DEI, and then it became Me Too, and everything was victimization.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
If I walked up to a beautiful woman, I had to worry about getting accused of XYZ, or I had to say, I am looking for someone to have a fun time with. Would you sign this contract that says you are willing to do said fun time? Our parameters and deliverables are, I will pick you up at 8 and we will be done by 10. Anything beyond that is not on the table. I will pay for everything and I look forward to our next social interaction.
Did you tell him that's how we met?
It's glorious.
It makes you pine for the days when you just had to worry about the dad sitting on the front porch with the shotgun.
Well, right. But what they did was they sterilized every social human instinct into a statistical data point and then weaponized it against certain groups of people. That's what happened. And it went over 30 years or 20 years at this point, and you're seeing a mass cultural rejection.
Good.
Because men are afraid or were afraid to walk up and talk to women. And women are anxious.
Don't you dare open a door for a woman?
Don't you open a door? Are you paying for me? Like, what are you expecting right now? Like, I'm just expecting to go on a date for the love of God. And then the normal women in the world would be like, why are no men approaching me? Maybe because there's a lot of risk to doing it.
So finding a date maybe at a gun range, you might already be kind of gaming the system and hedging for a good bet.
It's totally possible. But it is. I say all those things to say we can relate and lead them out of that because it is turning. And the crucial pivotal point, a lot of people will say, oh, Trump did this, Trump did that. No, Trump is a result to the resistance of that.
I think so.
And Trump is great. I'm not bashing Trump. I'm not saying he's bad. But what I'm saying is he is a cultural reflection to the frustration that is existing in our population for the last 30 years.
So true.
Young people historically and traditionally only vote to the left. Because they're idealistic, they don't have any kind of life experience, and they think that everything's pie in the sky and it'll be great. And then real life happens.
And they go, wait,
and
I
then,
voted
wait a minute,
for that?
hold on a second. Who's this government guy taking all my money and giving it to someone who's not? That's not cool, and it's a very easy conversation. And when they have children and families, it gets even easier. It's like, you're going to do what to my children? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, let's have a conversation about that. But I say all that to say that the older generation that can be jaded a little bit and be frustrated and say our country's going, our politicians aren't working, ignore the politicians, ignore all the crap, and focus on the younger generation and show them the way because they will pick it up. And my case in point on this is you can look at who's picking up their attention. Andrew Tate's and the Nick Fuentes, all the ultra angry, lashing out, blaming everyone, blaming the system, blaming groups of people, blaming women. That's all toxic. That's all toxicity. It's not going to be beneficial. But they're responding to an anger.
That we go from a blaming culture to a blaming culture. And I'm happy and excited that we have, people like yourself in that age group, in their airwaves, available to them you're passionate, right? You can furrow your brow a little bit.
I got the brows for furrowing.
Right?
Yes.
But you're passionate more than angry, I think. And I'm hoping that then attracts them and says, okay, anger, that's one thing I can vent, but it's not really giving me a pathway. And you're giving a pathway to say exactly what you just said. I'm telling you, if you change the culture, right? And you are the culture. That generation, you are the culture.
Well, all generations are the culture.
Be the change you want to see. Right?
All the culture, all the elements of the culture, whether it's the older, the younger, the medium, they're all elements of our cultural sample. Right? One of the things that you just hit on that I say all the time on my channel is, I'm going to tell you what's going on, but I'm also going to tell you what we're going to do about it. Let me relate this back to our opponent, because it's self-reflection is a little uncomfortable sometimes, but it's really easy to pick out the faults in other people. So let's have some fun with that one. So on the left, you've got a culture of find victimization, find something to be pissed off about, and then internalize it, and then make it about yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so what the left will do is they'll go down the road of saying, this group did this to you, and they're bad because of this to you, or culture war, this. Well, what they tend to do is they tend to destroy themselves.
Yeah.
And they constantly complain, and they never offer a solution. It's always a whine. Victim. I'm going to sit in the front seat of my car, turn my phone on, and start crying and screaming on TikTok. It's very productive. And by the way, to all those who happen to wonder, if you do that, thank you for the content. Because it's never ending and amazing. You are destroying your cultural side by every single second. But the main point is, you have to, emotion is fine, emotion is great, emotion is a human experience.
Yeah.
You have to use it as fuel towards something, or at that point, you're only burning out your energy, and it is a relentless sapping of your psyche. You cannot do it. You have to partner it with a why, with a motivation. Your why is the anger and the emotion, and here's what's going on. What are we going to F and do about it?
Yeah.
Because we have to do something about it. We cannot just sit here and be upset, because then we're falling into the exact same things that we criticize the left for.
Perfect.
Just saying.
This is why, right here, this is why I'm so excited that Braden took time and sat down with us here at the show. You can get your fill of more of this by going to his YouTube channel. Do you have any?
Yes, I do have a comment.
Keep going, let's go.
So when, I've been in gun business all my life.
Okay.
And in the 80s I had a gun shop. And, people come in every day. Rarely did a woman come in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rarely, very rarely. And after about mid-Obama, women started getting active with the gun rights.
Of course.
And I think that's one of our biggest saviors right now, is that they are getting involved, and they're getting their families involved, where men didn't do that. They just, when we were kids, don't tell anybody you have guns. Don't even put an NRA sticker on your window. Don't do anything. And now it's like, we're proud we have guns, and the women are organizing shoots and doing stuff. I think that's going to help us. It's been helping a lot.
Oh, it's helping us tremendously. But you pointed to something right there, which is much bigger and much broader. There was a concerted effort in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, because I was born in 86,
okay.
Right? So I was born smack in the middle of this, and I have a personal experience to kind of back this up. There was an effort to say that you can't talk about guns. You have your rights, and the left did this, by the way. Mm-hmm. The right didn't. The left did this. Mm-hmm. You can talk about your rights, because we would never take your rights, because we are gun owners too.
Oh, of course.
Because we love. I'm a hunter. I know a hunter. Who doesn't know a hunter?
Right.
So obviously, I'm the most pro-Second Amendment ardent Democrat you can admit, because I know my Uncle Bob's uncle, cousin, third removed, shot a deer once. Yeah, guys, really, you got my vote. Amazing. You're incredible. But the whole point is, there was the
sarcasm is free, by the way.
Man, it flows.
We don't charge extra for that.
It flows. Just enjoy. Just soak it all in. They made a concerted effort to drown out the word gun, and drown out the word freedom, and drown out the word Second Amendment, because let's not be uncivilized. And a decade and a half goes along, and all of a sudden it's unbecoming to say anything about a gun. Mm-hmm. And you can look and reflect on all the Republican talking points too, because it was very broad and very based and not specific. Politicians 101: get the biggest, broadest base possible without offering any specifics, because then you'll get into trouble. So what they say is, we love our Second Amendment rights, and I'm NRA endorsed. That was 20 years. And that was it. It was boom, 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 boom. And now go back to my personal example of this. My dad, conservative as the day is long. My mom, conservative as the day is long. I grew up on a steady diet of Fox News and Glenn Beck. Like, I am a Rush baby, Bible-believing, gun-toting Rush baby. Okay, I am the personification of what they were afraid of with Rush 30 years ago. That's who I am. And my dad didn't have guns. My mom didn't have guns. We didn't shoot guns at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not because they didn't believe in them.
Right.
It just wasn't priority number one.
Right.
That was the end. It's uncomfortable. Let's talk about taxes. Let's talk about the border. Let's talk about all these different pieces. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, and that's great. It's part of the body politic, but you have to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually had to break out of all of that and learn all of it on my own completely. I started working in a gun shop when I was broke, when I was 24 years old. And I learned all of these pieces, but my dad didn't teach me, my mom didn't teach me. It was just broad-based.
Yeah.
That's a very big cultural influence of which we are overcoming.
For sure.
And I think the second that the older generation in our space, and not in a negative way, by the way, the mentorship position, like the wisdom position, right? The second that they start reinforcing the different demographics that are coming in, which goes back to the original point you had, the new demographics that are seeking out a solution because of the problems that have been instituted by progressive DAs, democratic policies, no accountability, no bail or cashless bail systems, all of these things where criminals are back on the streets, they're voting with their feet and their actions.
Yes.
And so that's where your original question was. If you start with that piece and you offer that wisdom and that mentorship, it will meet at the position that you want to meet at, because they're coming in on their own volition. No one's marketing to them. Trust me, I can tell you, I'm in the whole system. Yeah. No one's targeting 18, 29-year-old female men. Yeah. But the demographics are naturally changing by themselves.
Well, it's very encouraging, but that, I'm afraid, is actually going to feed more into the apathy, because like we're from Arizona, and so often people are like, no, we're Arizona, we're safe, right? You're never safe, right? It is eternal vigilance. That is what's required to maintain our freedom and our save our republic, which is not a democracy. I don't know why the other side. Republic. Thank you. The other side is constantly talking about our democracy, which it isn't. But anyway, that's another lesson for another day. Stay tuned. But just to wrap up and bring it all together, I think we have much to be encouraged about. Oh, yeah. But we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal. And a lot of the fuel in that tank is information. And this man and his show is a great place to go for that day-to-day information. And how you stay on top of all of it, you must not sleep. I don't know. Your family is probably like, I don't know, we used to have a Braden, I don't know where he is anymore, he's probably in front of a microphone, but we appreciate it, we need you. So just as we go out, just tell folks a little bit more about how they can tap in and what you foresee as, you know, the next few topics you're going to be throwing at them.
Oh, that's a fun one. All right, well, first of all, you can follow me on X at Braden LOA. I'm telling you guys, if you're not an X user, you need to get in there, because it is the next cutting piece of this fight. I don't say that lightly, because I live on YouTube. Trust me. Like, YouTube, Langley Outdoors is my channel. And you jump in there, because if you're coming over there, you're coming over there for a solution. You're not just coming over there to be upset. I personally, this is my own little soapbox, I cannot stand just being upset. Here's what you're upset about. I'll see you tomorrow when I tell you what else you're upset about. Yeah. And then we're just going to continue this pattern forever. That is not sustainable.
No, thank you.
But if you do that and you join me over there, what we are doing is we are going towards the next generation. We are going towards the next levels of the fight. We are incorporating and pouring a lot of resources into the next technologies, to the next expansions. We are laying the groundwork for when that next piece pops, we're going to be right there. AI is going to be a massive part of it. Some people don't like it. Sorry, it's happening. And I know, and I get it.
Yes, it is.
It's happening. It's kind of like...
It's a tool like a gun's a tool, right? It's as good or bad as the person using it, but it's a little creepy.
It's uncomfortable and it's creepy. And if you watch my speech tomorrow, a little bit of a snippet, a little bit of a preview, the position that we are currently in with AI and the political applications and the industrial applications, we are exactly the same position as we were in the Industrial Revolution, when 90% of the population was agricultural, and 30 years later we went from 0 miles to 30,000 miles of railway. Right. The GDP went up 2 to 3 to 5%, and 35% of the population went into cities where everything started to go. We are on the cusp of a revolution unlike anyone in this generation has ever seen. No one alive has seen what's coming. Yes. We have to be in front of that. Yeah. Because if not, you're going to be a whole lot of world of hurt while everyone else is figuring out all these different aspects. But that's just a snippet of the speech tomorrow. It's just a little tiny piece. But jump over there, Langley Outdoors, and if you want to fight and you want to go to that next generation, that's a spot. Because we're
Braden, I'm not on X. So if I go on X, am I still going to see people in cars crying that French fries are cold?
Well, so it depends who you're looking for, but that little part of the culture has actually moved over to TikTok.
Okay.
It turns out that TikTok is the place for the emotionally fragile weaklings.
Every once in a while, you need that just to see where you are in life.
No, I get it. It's really encouraging that you know for yourself, you go, you know what, it's bad, but it's not that bad.
I'm doing pretty good because I'm not that.
I'm not that. Yeah. I've landed the plane a little bit more. You know what? Dang it, I'm struggling for my mortgage payment, but at least I'm not that.
Yeah. X used to be the dumpster fire. I don't find it that way anymore. Not. And I am on there all the time to get my news, to get my latest Langley update. And the speech you're talking about, just to let people know, this won't air while we're at the show, but they're going to live stream everything from the main stage at Goals, and I believe it will then be able to be tapped back into.
It'll be reviewable.
So you're going to want to check that out. Tell people again where to find you, and we're going to get on out of here.
We're good. Braden LOA on X, Langley Outdoors on YouTube. Let's freaking go and solve this thing.
I love it. You guys, stick around. This is interview number 1 here at the show. So we have set the bar high. Stick around. We've got so much more coming to you from the GOA 2025 Goals event in Knoxville, Tennessee. Stick around.